In the previous session, I discussed about the basic questions what, why, who, and when. And we discussed what is the programming language, what are the rules in the programming language, types of programming languages. And then we discussed about how to convert high level languages to low level languages, that is compiler and interpreter. And then we discussed advantages and disadvantages of compiler and interpreter and what is Python and history of Python. Followed by we discussed about the versions of Python and installation of Python. At last we discussed about the operators. I mean arithmetic, assignment, comparison, logical, identity, bitwise and membership. Today we are going to discuss about the conditional statements. What are the conditional statements? Like daily life we have used like so many conditions. Like if you take any object, we can think in our brain whether it is useful to our daily life or not. In the same way in Python also we have some conditional statements, that is called if else or if else if and else conditions. In Python, mostly we use indentation. What is indentation means? It is a type of syntax which we follow as a block. And for example, in conditional statements, it is if else. I am taking n equal to 10 as a number and I am checking whether n is divisible by 2 or not. How I can know whether that n is divisible by 2 or not? Whenever that 2, I mean that number, when I am giving modulo with that 2, if the remainder I am getting 0, then that number is divisible by 2. Else, that number is not divisible by 2. So in this type of scenarios, we will use the conditional statements. And the second is if we have multiple conditions on a particular object, and that time also we will use if else if conditions. For example, here if is one condition, elif means the second condition which we want to compare, and finally else. When else will come? If all the if elif conditions is not satisfied, then come to the last block which is else block, and then it performs what is there in that else block. And now I am checking like whether n is a multiple of 2 or 4. If that number is multiple either 2 or 4, then I have to print the valid, else invalid. So here I am using two if conditions. One is for multiple of 2 and another is for multiple of 4. Before I gave number n equal to 10, so I am checking n mod 2 equal to 0. I mean 10 mod 2 equal to 0. So that is valid and it will print valid. Once it first encounters 1, if that satisfies the condition, it ignores the following blocks. If for example I will take n equal to 10 and 10 mod 2 equal to 0, and it also satisfies the first block only. If in case I will take n equal to 9, n mod 2 equal to 0, the remainder I got 1. In the same way, it goes to the next elif block, which the remainder is also 1, and it also skips that elif block, and it finally comes to the else block and it prints invalid. Next, loops. Loops are the ones which is used like the repetition of task. And here in Python, we use two kinds of loops. One is for loop and the second one is while loop. The for loop syntax is for variable, I mean the for, and some variable, I mean any variable, I, j, k, a, b, c, anything you can give, and we have to put in range. In what range you want to perform that loop. For example, here I want to print the values from 0 to 5. So it will print 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 because it will take the target value minus 1. So what is the target value minus 1 here? 4. So it will print till 4. The next loop is while loop. The syntax of the while loop is while we have to give some condition and so on so on. In the same way, in the previous example, I used for loop. In the same way, now I am using the while loop. First, I initialized I equal to 0 and I am performing that while loop till less than 5 and I am printing that I value and then increment. So, first it will take I as 0 and then increment like 1 and then in the same way it will print till 4. Whenever it comes to 5 less than 5, that loop becomes false and comes out of the loop. Why use this increment? If we didn't give this I plus plus, it will throw like it will continuously runs and you can't see the output terminates. It will give 0 0 0 0. So we must have some halt condition to come out of that loop. And this is one of the sample program which we can write in our command prompt. If you want to print anything, you just give print of whenever you get enter, you can get that print value in our screen. So here is the example. Whenever you give the print statement and we click on the enter or run, you can see the hello world output. In the same way, here when like in some cases we want to take the input from the user what they want. In such cases, what we'll do, the user must need the input from the user. The syntax for the like the user wants to give in Python, we have to give input of condition, then it will take. Okay, I will take now n equal to 10. I am checking whether that n is divisible by 2 or not. So indentation is the one which we follow a particular format. So whenever if you use loops or conditions, you must need one tab space either in loops or either in if else conditions. So once I done with if n mod 2 equal to 0 and colon, when I give enter, it automatically takes the tab space. And now I am printing n is divisible by 2. Once it is done, you give the backspace which it follows if else indentation. If else should be in the same line and inside that block should be the same line. And print of n is not divisible by 2. When I am running this program, I am getting n is divisible by 2 because the 10 is divisible by 2. If I give n equal to 11, how it will go? First it will check n mod 2 equal to 0. 11 mod 2, I am getting the value as 1. So it will go to the else statement. And then it is printed like n is not divisible by 2. In the same way, if I am checking for two conditions, I mean that n is divisible by 2 and n mod 4. Now I am taking the example of n equal to 11. I am checking if n mod 2 equal to 0. I am printing n is divisible by 2. And I am checking if elif n mod 4 equal to 0, print n is divisible by 4. And then I'm giving else print n is not divisible by both 2 and 4. When I run this program, first it takes n mod 2 value, it is not equal to 0 and goes to elif condition and checks n mod 4, it is also not equal to 0 and directly prints the else block. If I give 10, in the first if itself it is divisible by 2. So the output is n is divisible by 2. What happen if I didn't give elif and I give if? So if I give like if else, it checks all the if conditions. First it takes 10 as n value and check this first if. And instead of elif, now I am giving if. What is the difference between if elif and if? In if elif, if any one of the block is satisfied and ignores all the subsequent blocks. Whereas in if blocks, it checks each and every if block and if any if is satisfied that condition and print all the block elements. In this case, 10 is divisible by 2 and it prints the value of 2, and that 10 is also divisible by, sorry, that 10 is not divisible by 4 and it just simply ignores this block and it goes to the else block and print this else block value. If I give n equal to 12, the 12 is both divisible by 2 and 4. Now we'll get the answer of n is divisible by 2 and n is divisible by 4. Now I will write the code for if loop. For I in range of 0 comma 5 and I am printing the value of I. See what I told, as I told earlier, the n value minus 1. It prints till the value 4. In this way the for loop works. Whereas while, first I have to initialize the value, then I will give while of I is less than 5 and I am printing that I value, then I am incrementing that I. In the same way the answer is also same. What happened if I forget to give this I plus r equal to 1? Let's see. See, it is like we'll get 0 0 0 and it won't stop. It will get the value 0 0 without any halt. And simple print statement, as I told, print of hello world. Sorry. Once it is in the continuous state which is not in terminate, first we have to restart the kernel and then we have to print the the next programs. Now we got the print of hello world as hello world. Now I am taking input from the user. Input of enter number and I am printing that number. Print n is given by user. So whenever I run that script, it will prompt me any number to give. So I'm giving 12 and 12 is the given by user. So I will get the output like this. And like comments. Comments are the one which we referred for reference purpose. If someone, for example, if unknown person wrote the code and the end user don't know the entire code, with the help of comments we can assure that this function is like this functionality is like this. So they just mention the functionality of that function at the above of each function or any classes. And these comments we can give in two types: single line comments and multiple comments. And if we give comments in our code, it just skips all those comments. For example, I am giving single line comment, taking input from user, and I am taking input from the user, and I am validating. So, and this comment will run in, I mean, won't give any output to our console. See, I gave the input n equal to 3, but 3 mod 2 is equal to 0 false, because 3 mod 2 I got the reminder as 1. So I didn't mention any if condition, so it just halts here. If I give input as any value that is multiple of 2, and I'm getting the print of that if block. So this is the comment. Whenever the any person can see this functionality, with this comment we can easily understand, oh okay, this is the functionality that takes the input from the user and checking it is divisible by 2. With then he, in this case, the end user or any person no need to check the entire sequence, but if the person can see the comments itself, okay, they can understand the entire functionality what it is going on. If I want to write in multiple lines, not instead of single lines, what we'll use, we will use triple quotes for this. So we can use taking input from user, and now I run the code. I'll give 4 here checking. So this also will work. I mean in 3 double quotes or hash. Next concepts, the data types. What is, why we need data types? Because in each and every scenario we need certain things to store. So for example, huh, in we can see in our online registration forms, right? For example, in name we can see a simple text field, whereas in gender we can see the radio buttons. So it's based upon the question we can give the different types of options, whether it is checkbox, text area, text field. In that way, in coding languages also we need different data types to store different values. If you want to store number, you can store string, you can store boolean. So there are so many ways to store the values. So what are the basic data types in Python? In Python we have numeric data types, which is integer, float and complex, and boolean type, set, dictionary and sequence. Under sequence we will get string, list and tuple. First, I'll go through all these data types. What is integer? Integer means 0, 1, 2, 3, any number which doesn't be any point values. Whereas float, which has dot in that number. I mean 1.0, 1.4, something, something. Whereas in complex, we can get the J. J is the imaginary. So in complex, we have the mixture of real and imaginary. Either 0 plus 0.5J or 1 plus 5J or simple imaginary. But if you have simple real number, I mean 0, 1, and again it will come under the integer data type. And Boolean, true, false. Under set, we use set in a flower brackets. And it is in the set we have collection of different data types or collection of same data types as well. Whereas in dictionary we have a mixture of key value pair. In string we have a collection of words or characters or alphabets, and this string is enclosed in double quotes. In list, we use that brackets, rectangular brackets, whereas in list also a collection of different data types or the similar data types. And tuple, it is like the open and close parenthesis, which in tuple also we can use the collection of different data types or the single data type. And under data types, we are characterized into two types, mutable and immutable. Mutable data types are the one which we can change. I mean, we can either insert, delete, or update on the existing things. For example, list, dictionary, and sets are the mutable data types. Whereas in immutable, once you create that object, we can't modify, or we can't update, or we can't remove the object. For, for immutable, we can say like the generic data types, that is numbers. Under numbers, we can get integer, float, complex, boolean, and tuples and strings. So these are the immutable data types. So under under Python data types, it has divided into two, immutable and mutable. Immutable data types are the numbers, strings, and the tuples, whereas mutable data types, list, dictionary, and sets. So now I will take the string data type and I will say what are the functions we can follow in the string. So what is a string? It is a set of characters or numbers or a collection of both characters and numbers, but it is enclosed in double quotes. And there are so many methods in strings, and I mentioned a few which are very important in most of the programs. So if I take that string, here we don't need to mention the data type, but we can easily mention here like st equal to, okay, if I am printing this st, I got the same st value. So sorry, in the first function is capitalize. Capitalize is the one which it changes the first letter in the string as in uppercase. If it is in uppercase already, it ignores either way. Otherwise, it will change to the uppercase. St dot capitalize of. See, the first character is changed to capital T. And second, it checks the ends with whether the corresponding string is ends with the corresponding letter or not. If it is satisfied, then true. Here I am checking st dot ends with of ro. If the given string is ends with ro, then it will return true. Otherwise, it will return false. And find function. Find is the one which means it will return the first occurrence of the string. So for example, I am checking the S character in the given string. What is the position of the S? It always starts the string with 0. So T is 0, E is 1, S is 2. So it will print 2. And then if the find string, which I mean, for example, here S is the find string. And if that any of the string that we passed in the find, it's not present, then it will give -1. Let's see one example. St dot find of, I'm checking with a Z. Z is not present in the given string, so it returns the -1 value. Next, index. Index is the one, it also returns the first occurrence of the string. And what is the difference between this index and find means, if the find string which is not present in the string, it gives -1 in before case, but now we got the error. Let's see. Here instead of find, I am mentioned index. What will get? Error. Will get like Z is not that is not present in the given string. What happened if I give E? It will give 1 because E is present in the first position. Next, it checks, and the next function is all num. It checks whether string is the combination of alpha and numeral. If the string is either satisfied either alpha or number, it returns true, else it returns false. And is alpha, which checks whether the string has all characters or not. If the string has all characters, then it returns true, else it returns false. Is digit. It also returns if all characters are digits, then it returns true, else it is false. And is numeric. Is numeric is the one which checks all the characters in the given string or numeric. What is the difference between numeric and digit? Whereas in numeric, it takes a special characters. I mean, we have some special symbols for numeric. For rupees, we have rupee symbol, euros, we have different symbols, right? In the same way, in numeric, it satisfies those symbols also. Whereas in digits, it just only checks whether the given string has 0 to 9 values or not. Whereas in numeric, it accepts all the digits. Is upper. It returns true if all the characters in the given string is uppercase. Else it returns false. In the same way, lower. Lower, it checks whether all the characters in the string are in lowercase or not. And st dot is lower of. It returns the lowercase one. And the next function st dot lower of is the one which changes the given string to lowercase. Whereas in upper, it changes the entire string in uppercase. Here, for example, I am changing this st to lower. It changes the entire to lowercase. If I give the upper, it changes entire thing to uppercase. And else strip. Else strip is the one if there are any spaces in the left side of the string, it ignores all the left side spaces. Whereas in R strip, it ignores the right side of the spaces. And strip which removes the spaces both left side and right side. For example, in the string I will give the spaces here. And I am doing that else strip. It removes the front spaces, but backward spaces we can see here. Whereas if I change that L strip to R strip, it removes the right side spaces, but it presents the left side spaces. If I use only the strip, it ignores both left and right. See, if I highlight this, it just takes this only print. I mean, this is the print statement. And length. How we know the length of the string? So we'll get length of st, which gives the length of the string. So for this example, I will take the length of the st. I'm getting 11. Why I got 11? Because here there are 3 spaces and here there are 3 spaces, and it takes the tessero also, like each alphabet is 1 count. So I got 11. Next, replace. If you want to replace any character or any string in the part of the given string, we can use the replace function. So let's try for this. st dot replace of what I will replace? I will replace 3 spaces to, I will combine. What I got? See, it's like it removes all the spaces. Wherever I got the 3 spaces, it removes. But at the last, I guess it has only 2 spaces. So because of that, it doesn't remove that spaces at the last. Next is split function. If you want to split the string into multiple parts, so you can split. So here I can split the string at S. What I got? TE, and it splits at the S character and the remaining characters in the second. Next, if you want the specific length of the string, you can give the corresponding index. For example, if you want the string from T to S, so how you will give? ST of 4:7. What I'll get? Here 3, and it starts from, sorry, wait, I will remove the spaces. So it will give 0, 1, 2 because it will take n minus 1 value. So till S it will print because T0, E1, S2, and whenever it reaches 3, it just ignores the string from the last index. And these are the functions we generally used in the strings. In tuples, tuples is the ordered pair. I mean, what the sequence you are giving the input, the same way we are getting the output. Whereas in tuples, it allows the duplicate values. I mean, in the tuple, if you have 1, and if you want to insert one more 1 in the tuple, it will take. I mean, if you have in the tuple as 2 occurrences, it will take the duplicate values also. And tuples are immutable because because of this immutable property, we can't add, delete, or update to the existing tuples. But we can retrieve the any index in the tuple. I mean, any value corresponding to that index value, or we can get the count of the tuple. Apart from that, we can't modify the tuple. For example, I am taking the tuple 1, 2, 3, and I want the index of 2. The value is 1. The 2 is present in the first position. If I need the count of A. If you see, for example, if I have 2 is 2 times, I want to check the 2's count. How many 2's are present in the given tuple. So I got 2 because it has 2 occurrences of 2. And if I give 1, it has only 1. So I got 1 as an output. Thank you.
Hey, hi, I hope you understand this video. Please like it, share it, and subscribe it. If you want to view that PDF, go and see our description and see the PDF. Thank you.